Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm in the greenhouse yet again, surprise surprise, but I do get a lot of questions on my Instagram for a greenhouse tour, so I cleaned the greenhouse today, so I thought today would be the perfect day to give you guys a tour of the greenhouse. So let's go. When you walk in the doors, I just have a little step here and my potting bench is right at the door there. And I actually built this bench out of reclaimed pallets. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Did that all myself. So on the top shelf, where I keep all my terracotta pots, my little odds and ends, and then this is obviously my potting bench, my workbench. On the side, I just keep my tools. I have some spare supports for my plants. Underneath I just have another plastic pallet which I have some bags of seed raising mix and container mix. I have my ceramic pots and all my plastic pots and trays. So this is basically my little workstation where all the magic happens. And then for easy access on this side is where I have my soil mix, and then this is where I put soil out of old pots that I don't really want to reuse in case there's pests or anything in there, and that also goes into my compost bin. And up here I just have a few containers, like in here I have my propagation mix of cocoa peat and a perlite and vermiculite mix. And this one I like to keep my moss wet so it's ready to use, so I've got some sphagnum moss in there. And I just have some tree fern fibre which I also like to use for propagation, and I like to mix it into my soil mix. And this is my little brick path that my husband made me out of some bricks that we got off Trade Me. We bought a pallet load of bricks, so he made this little path for me. And on this side here, I've recently just got these black shelves to put all my propagations on. So this is where I do all my propagating. And this corner is sort of my outdoor garden area. And I've got some more propagation sand, some perlite and vermiculite. I've got some bird seed which I like to feed my birds. I have some blood and bone for the garden, and then yeah, just all my gardening supplies. Some spare pots, and I've got some lettuce growing. And this is where I keep my water that I water all my propagations with. I'll show you my under the bench plants. So I have a very sad looking Tradescantia back there. I have a fern here which I really like. I have a Rhaphidophora decursiva which I've planted under here. I have some sad micans that are kind of just shoved in there, and a little prayer plant, because my greenhouse base is just pure coarse pumice, and obviously gets a lot of moisture from the ground underneath, so these guys actually stay really nice and moist under here, and it's obviously shaded by the bench, so far they're loving life, and I really want to plant some more things under here. Okay, now I will give you a tour of my prop shelves. So I'll probably go through this pretty quickly because I've got a lot of stuff. So I've got a shingling Scindapsus Pictus exotica. I have a Begonia angularis. I have some Adansonii cuttings, another little begonia. I have some mystery peperomias and some other peperomias. If you know, you know. I have a variegated Hoya Kirii, which actually came with root rot, so it's in rehab at the moment. Some sad looking chain of hearts, my little string of turtles, my Peperomia marmorata, which is also in rehab from root rot. Ugh. Don't even get me started on my root rot this season. This is my Begonia Imperialis. Has lots of new growth coming back. I didn't like my indoor conditions, so I've moved it out here to the greenhouse. I have my Rhaphidophora decursiva, which is a cutting I took off the plant which I have planted underneath my bench here. In this little prop box I have quite a few peperomia cuttings. So I've got Wavy Gravy, Marmorata, the Mystery Pep, I've got Watermelon Pep, I have some Sansevieria Fisheri cuttings, some Begonia cuttings and a Golden Pothos. In this one here I have a Fishtail Hoya, some tiny little baby begonias at the back, some more Mystery Peps, the Peperomia Marmorata cuttings which I took off the plant which is in rehab just in case that dies. I have some Peperomia Frost and Watermelon, and a Hoya Camingiana which I got in a trade recently, so it's sort of just acclimatizing out of the post from in there. I have these two containers. Now in one of them I have my Hoya Serpens, which again is also recovering from a mealybug infestation. I'm running out of breath. I completely cut it up, cut all the roots off because it had root mealy and normal mealy, and I've got half in sphagnum, half in my cocoa peat mix, and hopefully it'll root in there. And in this one, oh, I'm gonna knock this off, hang on. In this one I have some butterfly chain of hearts propagating. So that's the top and bottom shelf on this one. And on the top shelf here I have lots of string of pearls, variegated and non-variegated. I have this prop box here which I have just jimmied up a little string so I can open the lid during the day to let some heat out because these get really hot in here. And in here I have some Hoya Bella cuttings. I have my Epipremnum pinnatum. I have a Fishtail Hoya. I have a Hoya, starts with P, something, yep, you know what it is. I have some Linearis, some more Marmorata cuttings from my plant, which I hopefully will at least get one good one out of, and some Brazil cuttings. And jammed in between there I have some begonia cuttings. I have this begonia with a beautiful red backing, and I have some more Angularis cuttings which are ginormous, huge leaves. Love these guys. And the next prop box over, so same situation, got the little string to hold the lid up. And in this one we have my Brazil, which is also recovering from root rot. Go me, rotting all my plants. I have lots of Fishtail Hoya cuttings which have some new growth on. I have some Hoya compacta cuttings which are all rooted, and I have some more sad neon pothos cuttings that again is in rehab from my main plant. And this little guy is a Hoya linearis in a little kokedama ball, because I did some research on how they grow, and they grow in sort of like mossy, damp conditions on trees, so I thought I would give this a whirl. And so far it's got some new growth, so it is liking that. So that's that prop box. And then on the bottom here we have some chain of hearts, the variegated kind. And in this container I have some variegated chain of hearts and propagation sand. And I have a mix of variegated and non-variegated, half in sphagnum and half in cocoa peat, just doing some experiments to see which roots faster. And I actually like to keep the humidity up for when I'm rooting them. I find that works really well, but they don't like humidity once they've sort of established, which is why this plant is out here. This big box here is a random assortment of things. I might pull it out a bit. So here I have some peperomia, some more peperomia, a Hoya, a begonia, more peperomia, more begonia. I mounted this little Hoya serpens on this panga stake cutoff, and it is growing into that, so that's pretty cool. This here is some seeds I got off my lipstick plant. It produced a seed pod, and then I popped the seeds on the sphagnum and they have all sprouted, so I'm going to have hundreds of little tiny lipstick plants, so that's pretty exciting. I will do a video when they're a bit bigger and I separate and plant them out. At the back I have some more Hoya serpens, some string of turtles, some sad looking standliana, and some peperomia and more Hoya serpens in there. And this is my last shelf full of propagations. So again, I've got different begonia, I've got more angularis, I've got the angel wing. I have some cute little burrows tails with cute little flowers on. I have this marble queen, which I just potted up from lots of tip cuttings. I took off my main plant inside and I rooted them in here in cocoa peat, so these two haven't taken yet, so they're still sitting in there. I have this very sad looking Adansonii or Swiss cheese vine, which the snails absolutely demolished, hence why I have snail bait in there. I have some beautiful Micans cuttings. I mean, it's a bit dirty, but look at that, so pretty. The two tip cuttings are growing really well, and then these are just the stem cuttings. I have my prized variegated fishtail Hoya in here. It has grown one leaf here, the other leaf fell off, and then it's grown these two leaves, and then it has done nothing for quite a while, so I don't know what's happening with that. Again, lots of slugs and snails in here, so I kind of went a bit ham on the slug pellets. Here are my propagations from that video where I propagated in different mediums. So essentially I've just got the cocoa peat, the water, and the pumice still going. The other ones I scrapped, and they're all doing okay. In the bottom shelf I have a peperomia incana, which I rooted in water and it's now growing a little baby. I have quite a few heartleaf philodendrons, which I have grown and rooted in straight tree fern fibre, and same for all these little Micans and Brazil cuttings. They're all in tree fern fibre as well, and they're all growing super well. Lots of new leaves on those, so that's exciting. This is the remainder of my Brazil plant, which is root rot, which suffered from root rot. So I've got some in the perlite vermiculite mix, some in water, and some in perlite vermiculite mix in the green in the prop box. So hopefully one of these methods will save my plant. I have some Hoya cuttings, some heartleaf philodendron, some more begonia angularis. These three little guys are Adansonii cuttings, which I am now growing up these little stakes, so hopefully they'll start getting some fenestrations in. And yeah, that pretty much is the tour of all my propagations I have. Now I do have shade cloth on the roof, and I have nothing special in here, so I have two solar vents which open up when it gets hot in here, and then I have two manual vents which I just keep open all the time in summer. And yeah, no heating, no cooling, no fan. I just leave the doors open and the windows open, and it seems to do the trick. Okay, it's like 500 degrees in here. I'm hot and sweaty. I hope you guys liked this little tour of my greenhouse. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I gotta get out of here. Bye.